let us all do we can to build a better future.
The thing is, the economy will be a front and center issue. I would be surprised if it isn't with the way things are going. The power of the dollar is slipping away. Inflation is still rising up. Buying a gallon of milk or buying a gallon of gas, it's starting to become a little pricey. So let's play this video with, again, Tucker Carlson talking about CBDCs with Tulsi Gabbard joining in on the conversation.
Digitized currency, your freedoms would evaporate. They could zero out your bank account and make you impoverished for being disobedient. You would be a serf at best. And with that in mind, you should know that central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are about to become the norm in Europe. The president of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde, has just said that Europeans will not be able to use more than $1,000 in cash anymore.
Now we have in Europe this threshold. Above 1,000 euros, you cannot pay cash. If you do, you are on the gray market. So you take your risk. You get caught, you are fined, or you go in jail.
So you go to...
Now, again, there's probably a little bit more to this, but again, folks, kind of scary times. Sort of like 1984. It's just, we just seem to be rushing into the era of Brave New World, 1984, Fahrenheit 451. It seems like somebody decided to staple all those books together and say, hey, this is the world we're going into. Everybody enjoy.
Jail for spending your own money if they don't control it. That's coming here. Tulsi Gabbard has spoken out against it. She, of course, ran for president, served in the House from Hawaii, and joins us now. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks, Tucker.
This is so dystopian. You'd hate to think it could ever come here. You think it might?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is just the latest effort by those in power in our country who are intent on undermining and taking away our own freedoms and liberties. This central bank digital currency is about government sanctioned surveillance and control. It's about them being able to keep track of every single thing that we purchase, whether it's a stick of gum or an automobile or anything in between. And so if they have...
So in other words, as we have said before, you'll own nothing and be happy, eat the bugs. But also, look, we know we're being spied in on our social media. We know this. We've seen it through the heroic actions of whistleblowers informing us that institutions like the NSA and other government institutions are spying in on us, following our data. I mean, it is a very scary time to be alive, in which we know we're being followed. So, look, it isn't that hard to believe or evolve the concept that, yeah, if the powers that be wanted to follow what you're spending your money on, or is it that turn off your ability to be financially solvent, they could. Don't worry, this won't affect the elites. It'll just only impact you.
Have all this information and data, which they will in this system, then where does that lead? It gives them the power to decide, okay, well, hey, we don't want to allow you to purchase certain things, or we may deem it necessary to freeze your overall account. This power and what they can do with it, it's not something we have to imagine. We've already seen how Democrats in Congress, Elizabeth Warren and others, are pressuring credit card companies to code and keep track of any purchase that's made at a store that sells firearms. Why? So that these private companies can then say, hey, this person is purchasing, I don't know what they deem is kind of the threshold, but they will then report that as suspicious activity to law enforcement, and then expect law enforcement to take action and go after the purchases, legal purchases that a private person made. So this all comes back to how you open this. Once we give up our economic autonomy, we no longer have freedom. Once we allow someone else to control our wallet, they then control our freedom.
Let's have democracy in the chat. Do you trust the powers that be, the institutions that run our country, to be responsible and to run and tell you how to take care of your own finances? Do you trust the institutions to have your best interest. Type 1 if you say, Kit, I don't mind somebody controlling my money, my finances, my wallet, my bank account. I don't mind that at all. What's wrong with you, Kit? Everything's fine. Stop worrying about it. What could possibly go wrong? Type 2 like, hell no, no one's touching my money. Hell no, no one's touching my money. I'm very interested to see where or how the chat will dictate this conversation. I wonder if we'll see any ones. Let's see if we see any ones here. No, not really. Oh my goodness, we're seeing a whole lot of 2s in the live stream chat. Lawrence Johnson, of course, types in pi. So there you go. And Mastermind Hour writes, it won't affect me. I have no money.
Yeah.
Do you think people understand what this means? It'll be sold, as always, as an effort to push back against terrorism or international financiers or crime or whatever. But do people understand on a gut level what could be coming?
I don't think they do. And it's understandable, because if you listen to what the government is telling us, like with all of these other things, whether it's the Patriot Act or the Restrict Act, they're doing the very same thing with this, saying, hey, this is for your own good. This is for your convenience, to make it easier for you to conduct transactions, when in fact they are giving themselves all of the power, taking it away from us, undermining our God-given rights and freedoms in the Constitution, because they want to be able to control us. They want to be able to control we the people.
So nicely put. Tulsi Gabbard joining us tonight. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Tucker.
So again, are we going to be heading into this grim, dark future anytime soon? Possibly. It's around the corner. I mean, look at everything that the establishment has done to us so far. Is it that hard to believe that they would one day institute laws in which they can dictate, well, how you take care of yourselves? If you don't think the top 1% would not be on board with the idea of turning all of us into permanent serfs, no longer are we private sovereign citizens, but we're just serfs to the system in the company towns, in the company cities, working at the company job, pushing the button. That's it. At least until automation takes over. Then I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do with a whole bunch of people. Just cattle them around, herd them around. Kind of sounds like a really dark future, but it seems that's something we're running into willingly by our establishment. And look, I said this before, and it's unrelated, but somewhat related to this. With the way things are going in this economy, if the powers that be, and of course their corporate donors, ever really truly get their wish, if they could pay all of us nothing, they would. If they could remove us all from our jobs, they would. Anything for that extra shiny red cent penny. It's madness and stupidity, folks. Keep your head on a swivel. Things are going to keep on getting worse. I wish I could tell you something different. So as you head into work today, just remember, it's all going to be crumbling apart. And we all have to do what we can to look after each other, because nothing's going to fundamentally change until the people say enough. That's what we have to do.